Hi everyone, so today I'm going to do a quick update on our first spring with Back to Eden. What Back to Eden Garden is we're pretty much transforming our garden to be more self-sustaining. So what that is instead of constantly going out here year by year and tilling up the ground, adding a bunch of Miracle-Gro and synthetic things to make the plants grow, we're doing more of a natural organic based method that year after year the dirt gets better with just a little bit of help from us. So how do we do that? Well, what we have been doing is we've been cutting the grass low. We put a layer of cardboard or a layer of craft brown paper, and we do compost or manure or both on top, a good layer, and we add things like straw, hay, wood chips, broken down leaves, sticks and twigs, and we put that on the top layer. And the ideal thing to do is to do that on the off season, so around winter time. So we ended up starting this around February. So we did it a little late because we couldn't find wood chips anywhere. So there is this awesome thing called Chip Drop if it is in your area, where you sign up online on Chip Drop and they send you truckloads of wood chips, which wood chips is pretty much, Chip Drop is where arborists cut down the trees and stuff and clear land, and they need somewhere to dump the chips. So instead of just going to pay $50 or whatever for the arborist to go dump them at the dump, people like us sign up for the Chip Drop, and the arborists pick whoever they want to pick, and they come and they dump it for free for you. So it helps you and it also helps them. But the only problem is not every area has Chip Drop more available. So we were on Chip Drop for about a while, probably 5-6 months, and nothing came. So what we ended up doing was as we were driving, if we saw trucks come by, we waved them down, or we got the number and kind of called them and asked for drops of their wood chips. And finally we received a call, and we ended up getting 2 dump loads of wood chips. So that's been a blessing, and I've never realized how big our small, well, I thought it was small, our gardening area is. So even with the 2 dump loads, we still need more. So when I show you the garden, you'll kind of see what I'm talking about. The only thing I really want to press on you with this method is make sure you are doing your layers. You are not only putting wood chips and cardboard on your ground. You're doing cardboard, compost, manures, broken up leaves. You're doing those layers because that is going to bring in fungi. My words are all messed up, but it's going to break down for you, and after a few years all of that will turn into good soil. So I probably won't be adding more wood chips until maybe about 2 or 3 more years, because every year they'll start to break down and then you'll have to add more. But I'm super excited this year, and it looks like it's working so far. The only thing I know we did not do properly is we did not add enough compost. So we're really on that this year. So worst case scenario, you don't add enough, and when you start gardening, you're gonna have to dig the hole. Oh, that's another thing. When you plant in your wood chips, you're not planting in them. You're moving them over and planting in the dirt, because you're not gonna get good plants in wood chips. They won't grow. Well, they'll probably grow for a little bit, but they'll stop and they'll die, and they'll be a waste of seed and a waste of time. So take that inside. Take that inside, please. But yes, so plant in the dirt. And like I said, if it's not broken down yet and you didn't get enough compost, it's okay. Just still open up the dirt and add worm castings. That's another great thing to use. worm castings, compost tea, blood meal, bone meal, fish fertilizer. There's a lot of different things you can use that are organic and they won't hurt your plants. There's another thing you can do to help your plants. You can do companion planting, which is, like, I don't plant into rows unless it's corn. So what I do is companion planting. Like, I plant basil with tomatoes. I plant green beans with broccoli. I plant cucumbers with green beans because green beans release nitrogen in the soil. And cucumbers need nitrogen. They're nitrogen fixers, green beans are. What else do I do? Oh, I do the three sisters. I do corn, beans, and squash. They help each other. Like sunflowers and corn can be a trellis for your cucumbers or your long beans. There's a lot of different ways to companion plant, and it helps your crops do better. So that's pretty much what my channel is about, and I'm going to show you real quick an overview of what we have going on so far this spring. And it's just, we are in coronavirus time. So I actually planted more than what I usually plant, which I was actually excited about. So we'll see. Let me show you right now. Wow, I don't think it's gonna let me turn it around. It's okay. I'll show you over here. So here's our bush squash. So as you can see, the leaves were yellowing. And what was that problem? The problem there was I didn't add enough compost. And I had the wood chips on them too early while they were too small. So right now, as you can see, I don't have wood chips on them, but I will add that later when they get a little bigger and stronger. And I did add some worm castings to help with the lack of compost. I also did radishes in between our squash because they prevent borers, squash borers, just as aluminum foil prevents them. What it is this bug comes, lays its eggs on the stem, and then it eats the squash from the inside out. And it destroys your plants. I also added marigolds. And marigolds keep the aphids and other bad bugs away. Plus, they're really pretty. Right here, I have my cucumber trellis, which is a cattle panel. And like I said, cucumbers, they need nitrogen. So what I did was, with every few cucumbers, I added green beans. So I have a bush bean there, and I have a long bean there. And I added some more in the dirt, but they haven't grown yet. And I also added more marigolds. I also did watermelon, which is still getting a little cold, so they haven't thrived as what they're supposed to yet. But I am believing, I am trusting in the Lord. Now, watermelon, one thing you need to know, they are hungry vegetables. So you need a good amount of compost, a good amount of nitrogen, all that good stuff mixed in their soil. So I have bone meal, blood meal, compost, and I believe some, what else did I put in there? Some worm castings so that they can feed off of. Over here, I have squash, so cantaloupe and butternut squash, marigolds, and I have my corn bed. These are my corn bed. My corn, I'm waiting for all of them to grow for me to do all of the mulch in it. This is my peppermint in a pot. Plant peppermint in a pot, because if not, you'll have it all over your yard very quickly. It's invasive and it'll take over. I have marigolds here that I planted. I have tomatoes that I planted. I have cucumbers. One cucumber here. I have peppers. I have peppers, and as you can see, I had leftover wire from our rabbit bins, so I turned those into quick pepper and tomato trellises. I added more long beans, marigolds. So, you know, if you have the space, do it. Like I say, I do companion planting, so that's why everything is just everywhere. I have a sunflower there. I have thyme, lettuce, Swiss chard. I'm going to have more lettuce here, which is a great spot because it's shaded by this small oak tree. I have radishes, long beans, dill, chamomile, marigolds, and bottlenecks. squash, or not bottleneck, birdhouse squash. So I'm so excited to do that. Rosemary and all this, even the raised beds, they're all amended with a compost, some bone meal, blood meal, just some manure, and the wood chips on top. Like I said, I don't grow in the wood chips. They're just a covering for my plant, for my dirt, to keep the dirt well moist, to hold in water, and to break down eventually to create a good humus for our plants in the future. That's a sunflower that came back from last year. So I'm super excited. It's already huge. I did not grow that this year. It came back by itself. And then here's more plants that I have. I'm not going to go through all of them because I'm going to wait until they get a lot bigger. But this is also something I did. This is a wildflower garden. And the wildflower garden, what I did was I went online to Amazon. I looked up Texas native wildflower seeds and I threw them down. I also threw down a bunch of herb seeds. My cilantro went to seed already. That's the tall one over there. And then my lemon balm is doing amazing. I also went to Aldi and got bulbs. So there's a bunch of lilies, dahlias, irises, a bunch of things there that I'm excited to poke out. There's my lemon balm. It's absolutely huge. That thing grows every year, comes back without you doing anything to it. I like to prune it. But other than that, I mean, it just gets beautiful, bigger, and it spreads. I love it. A lot of people can't stand it because it gets so big, but it smells good and it keeps bugs in line too. I did some chamomile, some sunflowers over here by the beehive. My bees are out today. They are just loving life right now because of the warm weather. And that's pretty much what we got going on. I'll update you guys soon. Oh yeah, this is our apple tree. Hoping to at least get one apple. We planted it last year. So we'll hope to get at least one apple this year. But we shall see. We live and we learn. There's a lot of mistakes that we make all the time. But there's also a lot of good ideas. There's also a lot of good ideas in things we do. So I will keep you guys updated on the mistakes and the good things. Love you guys and thank you for joining my channel.